morning, everyone. So today we are going to discuss on another topic in the GL, which is very important and critical as well, which is account hierarchy. So let's first try to understand what is account hierarchy. So the another important topic, document sequence is account hierarchy. So in R12, we did not have this concept. This is a new concept in Fusion. So account hierarchy in R12 is also referred as parent and child. Parent and child accounts in R12. So when we used to create an account in the R12, so we used to have something to mark that account as parent, and we used to have it very simple. But here in Oracle Fusion, they have completely changed the concept. So we will be having something called as account hierarchy. So we will be using that in the GL side. So now let's first try to understand what is account hierarchy or why we need to have it. Any guess what can be account hierarchy? Any guess by anyone? Okay.
There would be a summary at a summary level. We'll have a one particular account, and then the rollout of that summary account will have some subsets of account.
Right. So it's as good as in simple language. We'll be having like parent and child accounts. Yeah. So I will take an example over here. So let's say, for example, I have 3 bank accounts. In ICICI Bank. So one I have is saving account. The second one is FD account. By which the third one is operations account. For example. Or I would say saving account, FD account, or I would say current account or operations account. Let's try to use just current account. Okay. So now, at any point of time, if I want to see the overall balance, what I have, so of all these 3 accounts in the ICICI, so that one is nothing but account hierarchy. Means, so let's say I have an ICICI account, which is bank account is. Let's say 12001 is my ICICI bank account. So under this, I have just mark it as, let's say this one is my ICICI bank account. So under this, I have 12001 is my savings. One two 002 FD account. Then 12003 is my current account. So now let's say, for example, these are the 3 accounts. So here if I am checking the balance of this ICICI bank account as of as of 17th September. So in this account, I have, let's say, 35,000. And in this, I have 15,000. And in this, I have 40,000. So if you see here, for example, if at any point of time I do inquiry, what is the balance as of now I have here in ICICI Bank? This is something relevant to 90,000. So this is the balance which I have as of now in the ICICI. So you could see here when I'm checking at the high level, and, and this is something called as a parent, or we call it as a summary level. So under this, these are all called as children's, and these are called as parents. So how you identify between the parent and child is, if you remember, when we created the value set values, there was one concept of summary account. Summary account is yes or no. So this will define whether this is going to be the parent account or child account. So this is very important thing. Summary account is the one, and for if we mark it as a summary account as yes, for example, then always the posting will be no, and budgeting will be no as well. So when we have summary as yes, always remember it. Why? Because we will never be posting directly into this account. Posting means when we create a transaction, when we create a journal in the primary ledger, we directly don't post to this account. We post to this account 12001 or 2 or 3. Then all these get totaled together, and it will show as this balance as on date. So this is something referred as summary account. So for this reason, we do define a concept called as account hierarchy, where we are going to mention this as a parent or as a master. Under this, we have this children. So it can be parent and children. Even parent can also have their parent, which is a grandparent as well. So now what is the advantage of this, having a summary account? Any guess? Yes, please. One is a reporting purpose. Perfect. So the advantage of this one is reporting purpose. Why I'm asking is the same question will be asked in the interview as well. What is the advantage of having the account hierarchy? What can be the other purpose? One is reporting. The other is the inquiry purpose. So when I say reporting or inquiry, so if I want to know what is the overall balance, I no need to go to each and individual balance and check it out. Imagine if this account is having so many transactions on day-to-day basis, it will be very challenging to summarize all these things individually, then make it total together and check it out here. So that can happen through account hierarchy. So directly I can check this account. So it will show me the overall balance. So I no need to get into these levels. Mostly this is useful for the management purposes. Management is not interested what you have in savings or FD or current account. They are only interested how much balance you have in ICICI bank account. So I say 90,000, that's it for them. And also it will help directly to get as a part of reporting and inquiry purpose. And also the other advantage of this one is it will save the time. Means imagine if there are hundreds and thousands of transactions monthly. If we need to calculate how much time it will take. So directly, even on the report also, we can directly take this account itself rather than taking this account, doing the total, adding it and all those stuff. Just take this account directly on the report, you will get it. So this is the advantage of account hierarchy, and it is mandatory. Without account hierarchy, there exists no GL because definitely we need to have it for reporting and inquiry purposes. Not only for account, I'm just taking here example. We can also have it for department. We can also have it for services as well. So if I take another example for department, so if I talk about department, let's say I have IT department. So this one is, let's say IT department is 20. So within IT department, we have consulting department, which is 21. Then ERP support, which is 22. Then we have networking department, or I would say networking 23. Then I have cyber security 24, for example, all these things. So what happens is whatever transactions which happens in these departments, let's say we are getting revenue for this department or expenses and all those things, this can add up and we can have one amount at this level, IT department. So the account hierarchy can be applicable for departments as well, even for products or services as well. Products means, let's say, for example, we have Tata Motors, which is relevant with the trucks or SUVs. I would say it's a sedans. So under this, we have different car models. For example, I can have Swift. I'm just taking an example of Maruti Suzuki. So we have Swift, then we have Desire and all those things. So all those products can accumulate to this level. So it can be for any segment. You can have this account hierarchy, no restrictions. And for this should be the conditions. Posting will be no, budgeting will be no, and summary account will be marked as yes. This is the condition to identify them. And after document sequence, account hierarchy is major important. And who does this? It is handled by the consultant or in-house team, because this requires a setup. This requires few things to follow up. So this is all about the account hierarchy. Any questions here, please? Okay, so let me share one of the, I will copy this slide after this session. You can just review it. So this is something I will quickly discuss. Account hierarchy, what are account hierarchies? The definition of it, like value set, like we can have management hierarchy, geographical, department wise, and all those. So these are the relevant set of steps we need to follow. So under financial reporting structure, we have something called as manage account hierarchies. We are going to define that, then we submit it, then we create a tree version. There is something called as a tree version concept. Then we are going to have node and all those things. So we will follow the same steps as well. And now I will copy this slide as well. So refer it as a handy. I will copy this under GL folder. We will go by this step and steps. So there are few screenshots as well, which will be important. One important thing we need to maintain is, if you remember, I have given the value set, right? Let's say AZ underscore company, department, account, all those stuff. So whatever we give AZ underscore account, it should be the same one. We will anyhow discuss this on the setup as well. Okay, so this I will copy it later on, no issues. Meanwhile, any questions on account hierarchy, please, before I get into the setup. So I'm into setup now, so I can go directly to the setup from this window, tap and maintenance. So under this, we have financial reporting structures. If you remember the manage chart of accounts value set, so I had something as AZ. Let me search. So I have AZ account, company, department. So I can have it on account, I can have it on department, on services as well. As an example, I will take it as account. So one important thing is we need to have this one as it is. I will have it as AZ underscore account. Okay. So now in the manage chart of accounts value set, let me search manage values. I can search. So I have here, for example, few of these accounts. So I will create few accounts for our review purpose. So I will click on plus. Okay. So here, let's say we are talking about, I will have a series of 15000. This is, I'm going to maintain as ICICI bank account. Okay. So this will be a parent. So how I will identify that this is parent? I will mark it summary as yes, and we don't post to parent, so we mark it as no. Allow budgeting is no, and as it is being bank account, it is asset plan. So this is like, for example, ICICI bank account. I will create few more. So here I'm going to have, so 1500. 1. So this one I will have as ICICI operations, or I will see current account. So summary is no for sure because this is a child. Allow posting, allow budgeting is okay, and this is an asset. So here again, I'm going to have it. So let me check if there is series with 15001. So now 15002, I'm going to have it as ICICI savings account. So its summary is no, allow posting yes, budgeting yes, asset. We'll have one more. I'm just taking as an example for 3. They can be departments, it can be multiple accounts, all those things. So here 15003 ICICI, we will have it as FD account, fixed deposit. So it's the same thing. That's it. Okay. So now I mark this as ICICI bank account. Under this, we have 3 children's going to be. So I'm going to 7 rows. 7 rows. Now we are into financial reporting structures. I'm going to click on all tasks. So there is something called as manage account hierarchies. So there are 2 concepts. One is manage account hierarchy, then publish account hierarchy. So first thing is we will start with this manage account hierarchy. I click on this. So here you will find something called as tree structure. So whatever we create, it will be available here. So now we are going to create first we are going to create a tree, then we are going to create the tree version. Okay. So here we have something called as create tree under actions. Then we are going to create later on the tree version. So I'm going to click on create tree. So manage account hierarchies. First we are going to have the definition. So I can give the name for this. So I will just give as A set, let's say for example, whatever we have it here, I'm going to, we can give the name of it. We have it as AZ account. The same thing I can just mention it. And tree structure, I'm going to select it for, it is for accounting flexible hierarchy. There are different hierarchies. Like for example, if I'm using project PPM module or HRMS, for each module there can be different hierarchies. As we are talking about accounting means GL, so this will be considered as a accounting field, flexible hierarchy. The moment I select this, you will find 2 things here, detail values and parent values. So I click on this. So here I'm going to mention the value set code. So it should be the same what we have defined in the value set. If you remember, we have value set AZ underscore account. In case if I give this uppercase or if I add yes or remove T, it will not work. So that is the reason I copied the value set as it is to paste it over here. So this is the one which will be referring to the value set. So here we have, for example, for the detail values where summary flag is no. Then we have the parent value where summary flag is yes. Means few minutes back we defined the account where we have given summary is yes for ICCI account, and all other children will always be having summary account as no. So here I'm going to mention the same AZ underscore account. So save this and double click on next. Not single click, but double click. If you press single click, it will not work out. That is a bug in this. So immediately double click on the next. The moment you do this, it's like a wizard, like you have defined specified definitions. So here specify labels nothing. You click on next. Then you just click on submit. Don't do anything. Just click on submit. So now we have defined that. So if I want to search, I can search. If you see this, I have defined this account hierarchy. So now click on this one and we need to create a tree version. First, we need to create a tree. So under that, we can have multiple versions. So that is the reason we call it as a tree version. So I'm going to click on create tree version. So here, whatever the tree name which we have given, for that we can mention this. So here I'm going to mention as, for example, or I would say hierarchy version or whatever it is, no issues. So like this something. Okay. This is just a name which we are going to give, and effective start date. So we want to give it starting from 1st of September or whenever we start the implementation at that time. So I will just give it as 1st of September. Okay. So you could see the status is draft. When we create, we want to make it as active. I will let you know as well. As long as this is in draft, if any user is going to enter any transaction for this account, which is ICICI, nothing will be coming as summary or child and all those things, because this is still in draft, not in active mode. So this is a wizard. So I click on next. A new blank tree version created successfully. So this is the name, and you could see the account AZ underscore. And now we are going to click over here, add. I click on add. You could see here whatever the accounts which has been created, all are coming. You could see here, for example, you could find ICICI, current, saving, and FD account. But where is my ICICI bank account, which I created, 150000? Why it is not coming? Any guess? Why it is not coming?
It is a tree.
Sorry. Tree means what?
A main branch.
But how the system knows it's a tree or main branch?
They have created from the actions.
No, there is another answer.
The
for
data
this.
source, the data source which was detailed here, right? You need to change it to the summary.
You want to say perfect. Yes, exactly. So see, detail values means all these are coming. Why? Because when we created the value set values, we mentioned summary as no. That is why details here. If I want to select parent, I will get only those which are summary as yes. If you remember, we created this value set value where I mentioned summary as yes, posting is no, budgeting no. Because of summary is yes, it is coming as a parent value. So I am going to click on this. I can have Even for example, 15, let's say this is 15100 series. We can have all bank accounts under one parent or grandparent. Under that, I can have ICICI, HDFC, HSBC, SBI, and all those bank accounts can also be there. I click on OK now. System is going to create this. Now, I want to include all the children under this. So first, that is the reason. First, we created here the parent or the summary value. So under this, I need to create children. So select this one and click on again add. So here now I'm going to select the detail values. So in these one, I will tell the system I need to have this account, and this. I click on OK. So now what happens is system has this. This is now a parent or a summary account. Under this, we have these three. So what happens is any entry I make here, 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, all these will get total into this bank account as to show on the report or for the inquiry purpose. So system will do this activity for us rather than I'm taking calculator and checking all these transactions. Imagine if I have a thousands of transactions every day of Google Pay or Phone Pay, other accounts, all those things. It will be a big challenge for us to keep doing the totaling and all those things. System will do it through this account hierarchy. At any point of time, I want to remove this. Maybe I don't want to include it for some business reason. I can just again go back and edit. So we can remove it specifically. I don't want to have relevant accounts at any point of time. We can remove it. I can just click on this and remove. System will remove. Means whenever any transactions happen, only these two accounts will be considered to show it over here. At any point of time, new account has been created. We can come here and add it. So this will be normally handled by the internal departments or supporting teams as. So now I click on. So you could see it has been submitted successfully. So now you could see this is the account. Under this, we have the tree version, but the status is draft. The draft status will not work out. So what we have to do, actions, set status to active. We have to make it as active. So now the moment I click on active, we need to do auditing. Auditing is something like, if you remember when we created the value set, we created the account in structure and instance, we deploy. Similar way, system will try to validate whether we have given properly the accounts, the value set account name and all those stuff. So we click on online audit. We can schedule this as well to run after office hours and all those things, but I will just click on online audit. So you could see it will check internally if everything is okay or not. So now you could see audit completed successfully. So now system will make this as active. Okay, so this is one of the steps. You could see audit result. All these details will be there. So now I click on done. You could see it has become active. This will come by practice, and already the slides I have for account hierarchy, it will give you step by step, so nothing to worry on it. So now this is active. So one part of the setup is completed. Now there is one more important thing which is related to publish. So we need to publish this. So I click on publish account hierarchy. Unless and until it is not published, it will not be active. Even though we change the status to active, we have to publish this. So I can query based on hierarchy name or value set name if I remember, or chart of accounts. So we have something like AZ, right? If you remember, we created AZ underscore something. So we can query by that name as well. This is the one which we created. I can search with this. So you could see here AZ underscore account. So this one we need to select. Very simple. Mark it over here. Click on publish. What happens is system will do a sort of account cubes. So there is something called as account cubes and balances. System will start accumulating whatever the transactions from now onwards we do. It will start internally doing the additions and all those stuff to accumulate at the parent level. So we click on publish. If I just created make it active, I did online audit, it will not work out unless this publish is done. It is mandatory to have this publish. I click on publish. The publish chart of accounts dimensions and hierarchy process has been submitted. So these are something called as dimensions, means whatever the values which we enter, it will try to accumulate after doing all the relevant additions and all those things. I click on OK. We are done with this. Save and close. If I want to go and check the process on the publish, I can go to tools, schedule processes. I can click on this one. It will show. You could see publish chart of accounts. So it is internally running the process. So you could see this one. So once it is updated or active, then it will be complete. We can, for example, I'm into general accounting. I did not mention for which primary ledger I did this account hierarchy. How the system will come to know? So for example, if I go and query, or first let's do some transaction. So let's do some transaction on the account, then we'll come to know. So I'm into journals. And how the system will come to know that I have done the account hierarchy for primary ledger? Any guess by anyone? Because I did not selected any primary ledger as of now. How the system will come to know? Yes, please.
Because you already choose the child account under the primary ledger.
We are
But
selecting the value.
Yes, we
Value
are
set.
selecting value set.
Yes.
We are selecting the value set. That is more important to understand, because this value set indirectly is the part of the account instance, and this account instance is indirectly part of the primary ledger. So even though we did not directly assign the primary ledger, I did not select it particularly Amazon primary ledger, but as my account instance is AZ underscore account, so for that reason it is coming. And whoever is going to use that account instance, for example, maybe you have used that account instance to create your ledger, your own ledgers. So even you will also get the same account hierarchies, what I have defined, because we are talking here about the value set values, value set plus value set values. Now let me create a journals. to see the reflective. So I'm into Amazon primary ledger. So at any point of time, I can have, based on different ledger access, I can get into it. So here, if I want to create, I can just manage journals rather than creating. What I will do is, I will just copy. So there was one question yesterday, like, can I have the copy only for this batch or for even for this? So in order to do that, at least you need to have one batch. Then you can copy. I will just copy this. So I will give the batch name, account hierarchy demo. So let's have accounting data, today's date, no issues. And here I'm going to have ICICI account demo 1. Okay. So here I'm going to have date, adjustment, all those things. And let's change these accounts. So I will have, for example, let's have cash account, it's fine. So I will have here the relevant bank account. So I can select here and specified, I can have the relevant bank account. So current account I can give services and all those. There are no restriction on it. It's up to us. So I will have, for example, 45,000 or 25,000, for example. So I want to copy the same here. So I can click on duplicate. System will create for me. So here I can change it. So 15001 instead of that, I'm going to select 15002, which is the savings account. So here I'm going to have, let's say, 20,000. Then let's duplicate this again. I can have it over here as 3, for example. Which is 100,000. Now you could see the balance, this and this is matching. I will save this. I will compare this. And let's say, for example, within this batch, I want to create multiple journals. I can do it. So here I click again to add. You could see this journal batch will be as it is. Here it gets refreshed. So I will give account demo 2. Okay. So now here I can change the date as well. I want to make it as 18th. I can change the category as well. Allocations, for example. So here I can select the accounts. So I will have the alias cash. It's okay. And I can have 75,000. Then I can have here the ICICI account as here. I'm going to select this. And here I'm going to have, let's say, for example, savings current account. Click OK. 70,000. I can save this. Now you could see here that within one batch, I can have multiple transactions. Means If I post this batch, these two will be posted as. You could see here, if I select this, for example, I can get all these things. So this is very user friendly for the users as well, because I may be having a batch as September, and or let's say for example, I may be having something called as a rental. I have 3 branches. So this batch name will be September rental. Under this, maybe for head office, for branch 1, for branch 2, all the rentals we can enter over here. So I will just post it. The moment I click on post, the system will post this batch. Under this, whatever are these two will be posted in one shot. So now we have created this. So search.
So, quick question.
Yes, please.
What is the main purpose of batch?
The main purpose of batch is to save the first to identify a transaction and to save the transaction. Batch will help us to identify easily what is the purpose of the transaction. Let's say, for example, every month, end of the month, organizations run the payroll. So they can create a batch as payroll. Under that, they may be entering hundreds of employees' payroll, one bank account and multiple accounts of payroll, so that they can maintain as a one batch. It's an accumulation or it's a mix of multiple transactions in a single window. It's called as a batch.
So
It's-
when
Yes,
they post it, all the journals will post at a time.
Yes, exactly, within that batch. Yeah. Now you could see that.
Without complete, we can post directly. Yesterday
We-
you
We can
discussed.
post directly. Yes.
Okay.
There is.
That will be completed internally.
Yes, internally. Complete is something for the user reference. Like, for example, let's say I just save it. I click on complete. I went for vacation. So you can see that, okay, this is completed. So no more activities in that. You can post it as. So for that purpose. So
Sir,
now you could. Yes,
Sir, you
please.
said batches have different journals. So my question is, in a batch, the transaction from different sources, it will come like in a batch. Accounts payable.
Source will
accounts
always be one. Always remember, source will be one. For example, accounts payable is one batch. Under that, I can have multiple transactions.
So it
Okay.
should not, in a batch, different sources of transaction will not come. Like
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Because if you see, right, the source is always at the header level. Means, let me show it here. So I click over here. You could see the source is this, right? Under this source, you have multiple transactions, right? Maybe you can have multiple categories. Like here, for example, I have demo 2. The category gets changed, but the source is the same, right? So in that.
So that means in a batch, different period transaction will come. The source should be the one source.
Yes, one source should always be there.
Even in a batch, different period means financial year 25 and financial year 23 also in a batch it will be coming.
Yes, it can be multiple batches. Okay, for example, I want to have one batch with 2024, and under that I might select any transaction. But one important thing you need to remember is here, for example, I'm selecting accounting period as September for this batch. System expect to have all the transactions for September only. I cannot select here September and give here August, June and all this. Okay.
But the batch is in September, but the transaction might be in different financial journal
No.
entries? Different. Oh,
No. Okay. You could see here this accounting period is asterisk. So this determines. So I'm selecting here September means system will have accounting date from 1st September to 30th September.
Okay.
If I
Okay.
select here August means August accounting date, we can enter it. You can have multiple batches, month-wise you can have it as well, no restrictions. But it should be matching to the similar accounting period within that. Okay, so we have posted the transaction. Let me quickly go back and check the account hierarchy status. So published chart of accounts, this got succeeded. Okay, so now let's go and check. So in the general accounting, in the period close, all the inquiries will be under this. Under the details, there is something called as balance inquiry. We will come to this later on, what is accounting period, what are multi-currency and all those things. As of now, I'm looking into this, inquire and analyze balances. So here, for example, you could see here, we have this tree version. So if you see here, this is our account, which is ICICI account at the summary level. So under this, you have 15001002003. If you remember, we created this value, then this value, then this value. All these total together 100,000, 20,000, 100,000. So 220. You could see it is coming directly over here. So in the reporting purpose, I can just select this account 15001. Whatever will be under this will be getting to this. And this is dynamic, means if now, for example, I go and do some transaction quickly, I no need to internally go and change the values and all those. As the values are getting changed, or for example, as we post to that particular account, which can be child account of ICICI, system will automatically keep adding those values. So now let's say I will quickly do it one transaction in a minute. Manage journals. So this is the one. Now I will just copy this. So I'm going to give the date as 19th, but still September. So here I want to change the values here. Let's say I will give it as 175. Now I'm changing the one of the ICICI account to this one. So here, for example, if I want to change for this as well, I could do it. So here I will give it as this value, this value, this value. So I just need to change this value. So here it should be 1345000. Complete. I will post it. Maybe I can even change the data as well to post. Okay, so now this is posted. So imagine if account hierarchy is not there. If management asks me, please bring me the total of these accounts, all bank account accumulating to how much we have in ICICI as on date, it will be a big challenge for me. I have to have Excel sheet, calculator and all those stuff. Instead of that, I can directly come over here. Even we can use the same for report as well. So I click over here, account. this one you could see the moment I just post, system dynamically will be changing the values. Now you could see it has been changed. So if I want to inquire how I got this amount, I can directly get into inquiry purpose as. You could see for this 15001, this is the balance period activity. So internally, so many transactions has been done for this account particularly 15001. So this is how the beauty of the account hierarchy is. It's a complete right from system setup till the transaction. We can have this flow.